Good morning, everyone. So, last session we learned about some examples using selection statements. In that, we discussed about how to use if and else. One more, I told you switch. Some more points are there about switch we will see. Actually, what is the concept? So, switch is a selector used to control execution flow. It can select only the block that matches the given condition. So it improves performance and the speed when it have to handle when compiler have to handle multiple conditions. Yesterday we saw the problem. If there are multiple conditions, every condition it will verify until it is satisfied. What is advantage of switch? It will directly execute only the block that is matching, right? So switch is going to execute only the condition that is matching. So how it works syntactically? Switch, it requires a input value, and here we have case, and we need to verify the input value. If it is case is matching with 1, what are the statements? Case and input value. So after the statements we have to define a break. Actually break is called as a jump statement. Jump statement we have to define. Then we have default, and the default statements when condition is not matching, and we need another jump statement. That's how we need to configure. So switch will have a case, default, and jump statement. One small example already I showed you. This is the example. In this example, we have x value 4 and passing the value of x into switch. If it is matching with case, then it will put 1. Second, 2. Directly it will go to the case which is matching. It will execute and it will stop. This is a general example for switch. This is an example for switch. How do we write the switch? Now in interviews, several questions are asked related to switch. What are the questions asked in interviews related to this switch? I will show you. FAQs. So first question, can we define switch without default? So can we define a switch without default? Yes, we can. That means if there is no default, Alternatively, what it have to do, it doesn't know, but it will work. There can be switch without default. That means here I am not writing default, only case suppose 3, but still it is working. That means you can see it is going to print 3. So there is no default. If default is not there, what will happen? Suppose I am writing 13 and it is not there, then it will not print anything. That's it. It will not show any errors. It will not show any error. Let's see in the inspect, when we go to console, in the console, it is not showing any error. So we can have switch without default. There can be switch without default. So that is first point. Another point, can we define default at any position? So that means that is, you can say that is before case. Can we define default at any position? Yes, there is no order for that also. We can define default at any position. That means we can put default here at the top. Then you can see if I enter 13, then it will run that and show. It will say, I will just execute this. It is going to run the default and it is going to display. So default can be at any place. You can keep this default at any place. That means in between the case, you can keep anywhere. Suppose I am giving 1, so then it is going to print 1. I said 4, it is going to print 4. So I am writing some 4422, then it says please enter 1, 2. So default can be anywhere. It can be defined anywhere. It's not like default must be at the end, right? Without default also it will work, and you can keep default at any position. Another question is, can we use return as jump statement? Because break is a jump statement, return is also jump statement. That means you see here, after 2 I am using return. Return is also a jump statement. After 2 I am using return. Then I am writing here, suppose 2, and you can see it is printing the 2. So I entered 3. 3 is using break, and 3 also working. So return also working. So that means we can define return also. Then the question is, what is difference? Difference between break and return. That is very common question. So return also jump statement, break also jump statement. What is difference between break and return then? Difference is nothing but technically, break, actually what happens, break will terminate the block. That means it will stop the block, but will stay in function. It will terminate the block, but it will be still in the function. Return is not like that. What return will do is, return will terminate So terminate will terminate the block and quits the script. It will come out of script. That means it stops compiling. Break will not stop compiling. Break will still in the compiling. Only block is terminated. But return is not like that. For example, see now here. I will give here debugger. So let's open the debugger. And in the debugger, what we are doing is, so refresh. Now it is matching with 3 actually. So it is matching with 3. I click on next button. Then it will directly go to 3. After 3, we are using break statement. Then what will happen? It will come to break. After break, click next. You will see it is inside the function. After break, it is still inside the function. After that, so it will come out of the function. Because we said next, come out of the function. But see here, suppose I am using the value as 2. 2 is using return. Then see, I will refresh again. Now it will stop here. Step over. It will come to 2. It will execute the statement. After that, return. After return, next, you can see after return, it directly comes out of script function. Previously, where you saw, previously it stopped here. But now it is stopping here. That means it completely comes out of the script. It stops the compiling. So when to use return? When you don't want any another work to perform. It is finished. You should stop after that achieved. Then you can use return. Now there is so much other work to do. It's not finished. So then stop the block, but still stay inside the function. For that, we have to use return. So you can have both break as well as return. Right? These are jump statement. Next important is another option is, can we define multiple cases for single set of statements? Can we define multiple cases for single set of statements? The answer is yes. You will see this very regularly. So multiple cases for one set of statements we can do. That means you see here, suppose I have to take a new example for this year. Suppose we are writing a simple var choice is equal to some y. Switch if choice is y, or here I will just ask prompt. Okay. Prompt enter y or n. If it is switch, we are passing choice into it. Choice and case. If it is y, what should happen? Document dot write, you selected to continue. Continue. So like this we define. Then break. So case n, that means, so document dot write, you selected to cancel. Like this we define. Then break. Default document.write, please enter y or n. Like this we define. Then break. Now see, when I run this, it will ask choice. I entered y, then it says you selected to continue. I entered n, it says you selected to cancel. I am entering uppercase y, then it says please enter y or n. But I entered y only. Because switch cases are case sensitive, capitalization matters. So how to handle both case? If you want to handle both case, you can write like this. We can put case y, case uppercase y, both. That means if any of these two are matching, then it can execute this. You cannot put a comma here. There can be only one value. So you have to write multiple cases. You can write case 1, 2, 3. If it is 1 or 2 or 3, what should happen? Similarly, here we have to define. So case, so if case is uppercase n, what should happen? That means now it is, you enter lowercase or uppercase, it doesn't matter. I entered uppercase or I entered lowercase, both are working. I entered uppercase n, that's also working, cancel. That means we can use both, so uppercase or lowercase. So technically we can configure any of this. So what is the question here? Can we define multiple cases for single set of statements? Yes. This is example. Now another point is, another question is how to handle capitalization. If it is a word, because writing different ways is difficult. For example, this time we asked enter yes or no. Then here they have to write yes. Here yes. But there are so many ways of yes. People can write sometimes like yes. People can write like yes. People can write like yes. So yes like this. So they can write yes, various consequences. Then you cannot write 100 cases for that. Then we use a simple technique. Technique is we will put lowercase yes, we will put lowercase no. Then what we will do? Choice, whatever value entered, we will convert to lowercase. That is simple. That means in any case they may enter, it will be converted to lowercase. Then capitalization is not a problem now. I entered yes uppercase, it will take. I entered so no lowercase, it will take. So it will work for all cases. In any way you may type, it will work. So that is handling capitalization. That means just what you have to do. By converting the text into lower or which case? Uppercase. You can use any lowercase, uppercase. Which case you are converting, that case you use for case words. That is important. So we can handle, this is another example. Capitalization for cases you can have. So case can be a number or case can be a string. Another important question asked is how to handle a range of values using case. How to handle a range of values using case. Suppose I told you that suppose case 1, then case 2, then it will do the same work. Suppose I need to mention if it is 10 to 15, what? Then if it is 1 to 10, what should happen? You cannot write 10 times now. We have to write conditions. That means how? See, actually here we will put a symbol where n is equal to prompt, enter number. We will better convert this parse int, whatever entered through that prompt, we will convert to number. Into switch, suppose I am passing n and we are writing case. Case is, so n greater than or equal to 1 and n less than or equal to 10. So then what should happen? Document dot write. Here we will put, so your number, what is that number? N is between 1 to 10. Like this we are writing. Then break. So we are writing another condition. Copy. If n is greater than 10, 10 and less than or equal to 20, that means your number is between, so 11 to 20. Like this we are defining condition. So like that we can add a lot of conditions, but this will not work now. Why it will not work? Because what is n type? N data type. Prompt is converted to number, na? N data type is what? N data type is number. You are passing that number into switch. Then what is the data type of this case? What is the data type of this case? That case is using n greater than 1 and n less than 10. It is what kind of expression? It is a Boolean expression. It is a Boolean expression. That means it is going to return a number or it is going to return true or false. It is going to return true or false. So how you can have a number case and a Boolean value? It will not work. That means this case is returning Boolean, then switch also must be Boolean. So n is not valid. So it will not work now. You can see it's not going to work. Enter number, I entered 3. It's not going to work. So here, why? Because these cases are returning Boolean. So the switch must be Boolean. What is Boolean? True. That's it. That means which one returns true? So which one returns true? So that will execute and it will stop. If both conditions are returning true, then only first one will execute. That means you return 4 cases. In that first and fourth one are matching the condition and returning true. Then first one only will work, not the fourth one, first occurrence. So why we are using true? Because the result of case is true. Result of case is true. The result of case must be in switch. Switch always, switch type must be the same case type. So here you are using a Boolean and you are using a number, it will not work. Now it will work. That means you can see, I refresh, enter number. I said number is suppose 5. So your number 5 is between 1 to 10. I entered some 16. Your number 16 is between 11 to 20. We can write default and other options. This is how we handle conditions. That means that is how to handle range of values. So by using Boolean expression. So then many times question is asked, can we have Boolean value as case value or switch value? So, and answer is yes. So, but very important is if case value is returning Boolean, then switch must be Boolean true only, not false. You must have only true. You cannot have false because you have to execute the statement which is matching. If I have to execute the statement which is matching, then always the condition must be true. It cannot be false. So that is important. So always the condition must be true. It cannot be false. This is one simple example for that Booleans. I will copy this and this is example for Boolean. So while working with switch, lot of questions will be there. So all the questions and answers are given here. Because in general interviews, they will ask different consequences. Can we have switch without default? Without default, if I write, what will happen? Can we have multiple cases for one set of statements? Can we have range of values verifying using case? Can we have string with case as string, case as number? All these points we answered here. That is what actually switch. Next important, once you are aware of this, you can implement switch. In a simple example, we will see how to use a switch. Just a simple example. Let's create one example for switch. So we will create some cascading drop downs. Let's see. Here I am creating a simple data list, data or simple divs we will give. So here we have a div now. In that we have a div and a label. So select category. And here we are displaying a select. We are just displaying a select ID as LST categories. Another div we will add. And this label have select product. And another div. So we have select ID as LST products. So here, this is the simple presentation we are having. Now, categories and products, we want a cascading like option. Cascading is you select a country, then country related cities will come. You select a city related areas will come. So same, we select a category related products will come. That means this second list is not standard. That list will be changing according to what category we selected. So first we will write a script and we will create some categories. Categories is an array. We have electronics, we have footwear, so, and we have fashion. Like this we are having electronics, footwear, fashion, like that. Now we have to load these categories, and every category will have products. For example, where products, electronics. In electronics array, we have television, so mobiles, like this we are having, like watches. Now we have where footwear. In that we have some sneakers, and we have boots, like this. Suppose we have fashion, and here we have some jeans, so say shirt, like this we are having. So some kids clothing, like this we have. So these are the fashion. Now important is when user loads the page, these categories must display inside LST categories. So we will write a simple body onload, onload body load. So we will write a function body load. So on body load, what functionality we want? On body load, what is the functionality we want? The functionality is we have to write a for where item of categories. We are reading every category and load that category into drop down. That means we know where option is equal to document dot create element. What is it? So ls option element we have to create. Okay. After that, option dot text is equal to item. Option dot value also is equal to item. And this item we need to add into drop down. Document get element by ID LST categories dot append child. Append child. Which one option? We are adding that option. On body load, the categories are loaded. Now, when I select footwear or electronics or fashion, suppose in that first one, I will give as select a category. Then that also will be available. And when user selects electronics, that electronic products must come here. That means now what we are doing here is we are creating another array called products. It's an empty array. Products is an empty array. There is nothing inside it. Now we are writing for function. Load products is a function. This load products have to load the products into LST products. Same what we do. So for where item of what is the collection products, but products is empty. Products is empty. We will create an option document dot create element. Create element, which one? Option. Then option dot text is equal to item. Option dot value also item. And we need to add, what is it? Document dot get element by ID. Get element by ID. So LST products into that append child. Which one? Option. Okay, before adding, we will clean up. So document get element by ID, LST products dot. So inner HTML is empty. means we will clean up the list. So we are adding the items and defining them. After adding and defining the items, now here, this load products is going to load all the products, but products is empty. Now what should happen is, when user changes the category on change, we will write category change. On category change, we will write a function category change. We need to get the category name. How to get? Document get element by ID, LST categories dot value will get the category name. We will pass that into switch. Into the switch, we are passing category name. And case, if category name is electronics, then what should happen is, into products array, we will assign electronics array. That means we have separate electronics data. This electronics data will be added into products. And that products we are loading into second drop down. That means we have to call the function load products, then break. Same, if case is what? Footwear, then what should happen? Products must be footwear. And load products, the new products will be loaded, then break. So similarly, so case, so fashion, and we have products is equal to fashion, and load products, then break. Now you can see here, that's very simple. And if user is not selecting any category, then we will do one thing. We will put a default, then products, into products array, we will put, so please select a category. That is the message we are adding. And we will just load products and then break. Now this time, you see, I am selecting, because we are not giving any width. Let's give a style wherever select is present. So width is some 250 pixel. Then both have same width. So 200 pixel enough. Okay, like this. This is empty currently. I select a category. The category related products will come. I selected another category. The footwear products will come. I selected some fashion products will come. That means if I select first one, select a category, then it says please select a category. So you select a category, the category related products will display here. That is generally how we can create. This is called as cascading drop down. In many interviews, they ask how to create cascading drop down. I created only one level. You can create multi levels. That means when I select product, the product detail should come. We can create multi level, right? So you have to try this. This we done just by using a simple switch. By using switch. I will give you this example. Actually, you need to try this one. Now you can try this. For example, see Inox movies. In that, you see this drop down is not working. When user selects a movie, then the cinema will work. When user select, and according to movie, the cinema will be changing. That means the cinema will be changing according to movie. I select a movie, then cinema will come. I select the cinema, this date will come. So based on that, dates will be changing. different cinema dates may be changing. I select date, then timing will come. According to date, timing also will be changing. This is all multi-level you can create. You can create. I just created only one level of that. You can add multi-levels. Here our main concept is switch. If it is electronics, get electronics. If it is fashion, get fashion. Right? This is a simple approach of working with the switch cases. Right? Later in so many examples, we can use them. This is one example. You try creating multi-level, right? So this is one concept of how do we use selection statements. These are selection statements. So what is the summary? So summary for selection statements, we have if and else, and we have switch and default. We have switch with the case and with we have default. These are all selection related statements, right? JavaScript selection statements. Next important in the statements, we have another iteration, looping and iteration. We have looping and iteration. Already I think I told you difference between loop and iteration. What is difference? Loop and iteration, one difference I told you. Array concept I told you. Actually, what is loop? Generally, loop is the process of executing a set of statements repeatedly until the given condition matches, right? Actually, loop comprises of three things: initializer, initialization, and condition, and it contains counter. Initialization, condition, and counter. Initialization, nothing but it defines where to start. So condition defines when to stop, and the counter defines how to proceed. That means proceed next or proceed previous. Proceed one next or two next or four next. These all are compulsory for a loop. So loop requires initialization, condition, and counter. Actually, loops are created by using the statements. We have for, while, and do while. What is difference between these three? Actually, the for loop is nothing but it is used when developer knows the exact number of iterations, and the iteration counter will not change dynamically. Then we have to use for loop. That means I will tell you a simple example for real world environment. Actually, suppose we have a drop down. We have a drop down like some Netflix. Drop down is their language. In language, two options are there: English and Hindi. So like this will be there. This is a drop down. In that drop down, So we have these two items. Now this list of items in drop down, it is fixed. That means new items will not add, existing item will not remove frequently. Very rarely a new item comes. That means every day will this list change? This list is not going to change. It is fixed. Now from this fixed list, if you want to read what are languages available, then the best option is you can go with for. You can go with for, because for nature is once it started reading, if any new item added, existing item removed, it will not update. That means it will fix to read 3. That means it will read exactly 3. So that means it is good when items list is standard and items list is not changing. But for example, sometimes we need to read from some database. Actually, database data we don't directly read, we use API. But actually in the database, there is a table. Now you are reading the data from this table. In that 10 records are there. But when you are reading, because it is database, generally database several clients will be using. Several clients will be using. That means all these people are using this database. Now you are reading, when you started reading, there are 10 records. You started reading, 5 finished. Now 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, it have to read. Meanwhile, somebody inserted a new record, 11. That means the count changed in the table. Will for loop can change to the new count? It cannot change to the new count. At the time of reading, how many records are there? It will fix for that. Any new item added in between, it is unable to update. It is unable to update. Then for that, which one is best? We can use while or we can use do while. So when to use while and do while? When a list is not constant, when a list is not standard, the list will be changing. New items will be adding, existing items are removed while reading. Then we have to go with this loops. But these days, very, very rarely you will see people using these loops, because these are time waste now. Now we mostly depend on iterations. Why? Because iteration is more faster than a loop. And what is difference also I will show you. So that is the reason in JavaScript based technologies these days, very rarely you will find anywhere somebody writing a for loop or while or do while. All these modern generation using maps. I already told you array have a map method, array map. By using that we can read all the elements and present them. Or we use iterators like for in, for of iterators we use. Generally how for works, that means syntactically developer knows. Yeah, syntactically how to do for, we need initialization, condition and counter. That's how we need to configure. That means, so example for initialization means from where to start. That means where to start, where I is equal to 1. When to end, condition I less than or equal to 10. How to proceed, then I plus plus. That means after testing the first one, it will go to the second. You can use this anything I is equal to I plus 2, I plus 3. That means for every 2 times it will execute once. It will return 1. That means it will not return every result. For every 2 times it will return the result. That means it skips 2 counts and display. That is counter. You can increment or you can decrement. You can decrement. So these are required. And this is very lengthy process also. I will show you. Let's see now here. I am defining. I am writing a simple logic, right? Let's add loops .html. So script I will give here for where I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. And document dot write the value of I and br. Now you can see this is going to print 1 to 10 numbers. Now for example, I am just giving here. So I is equal to, so I plus 2. Then for every 2 it will return. That means you can change the counter. We can use increment or we can use decrement. I starting with 10. I greater than or equal to. So greater than or equal to 10. I greater than or equal to how much? 1. Then I will giving I minus minus. That means we are decrementing. So that means, so until greater than so or equal to 1. So it will print. Then it is going to print the numbers from 10 to 1. That means it can be increment or it can be decrement. So this is increment or decrement. It can have both. And very important here. Let's see the problem in this, how much complicated it is. So I am writing a simple document. Okay. And here we will put a ordered list. Now in this, we need to add some items. So body on load, so is equal to body load. And on body load, we will write a script. So function body load. So we need to read. Suppose we have a collection called where some categories. Now I'm adding electronics, so footwear and fashion. Now how to add this into this ordered list? So we already learned iterators, but loop C for where to start. Array index number starts with 0. That means where I is equal to 0. When to stop? Where the array length is maximum. That means I less than categories dot length. Categories dot length means how many categories are there, up to that. Then I plus plus. That means increment by 1 and move next. Now we need to print. So where li document dot create element. What is it? Li. And li dot inner HTML, we have to display categories of I. That means categories of I means first time I value is 0. Categories of 0 means it will get first one. After that increment by 1. Then it will be 2 up to 3. Now add this to document dot query selector. So we have to access OL dot append child. Append child. What we have to add? Li. Li to be added there. Now you can see. So this is working fine. and display. But this is too much complex. Let's see another option now. I will copy this. This is another example. Now you see, it is okay. Little change you are finding here, but initialization, condition, another one, counter. Suppose, imagine if I am doing a nested one. That means I will put here, so simple data. And data is having an array of objects. First object category is electronics. Okay, in that products is again array. In that it have TV, it have mobile, like that. Next, we have another category. Another category is so fashion, or say footwear. Footwear. In that we have products. So in the products we have Nike casuals. So say some Lee boot. Like this we define. Now what we need to do is we need to add a nested list. Nested list means category name should be as list item. Okay, first we will write a for where I is equal to 0, I less than data dot length I plus plus. That means we are reading every item first. Now how to create? Where li is equal to document dot create element. What is it? Li. And in that li dot inner HTML, we have to display data of I. Data of I is 0. In that data of I means, that means this is at 0 and this is at 1. At 0, there is a property called category. That means what we will do is I dot category. Now what happens is this data dot I, there is another one called products. Now initially what we want to do, add this into document dot query selector. So OL dot append child, we are adding li. That means you see list items first level is added. Now for under every list item there is another products list. Then what we have to do is we have to write another for where this time j is equal to 0. J less than how much? Data of I dot products dot length. Products length, then j plus plus. Now what we have to do is we need to access. This is products is the second element here, right? It is an array, so we are using another loop for that. So we cannot use I because already it is taken in the scope. We have to use j. Now we have to create where unordered list document dot create element ul. Okay. Then we have to create inner li or say unordered list item document dot what is it? Create element. So li unordered list element. What should be the value inside it? That means unordered list item should have data of I. Data of I is first one. Dot products. Products is an array. In that of j. That is how we need to access. What is data of I? Data of I is nothing but. So what is data of I? Data of I is how much as of now? 0. And products of j is also how much? 0. That means I0, J0. That means I means first one. That means it is going to get the first one. And in that, so J means products of first one. So this comes by using I, and this comes by using J. This comes by using J. Products is accessed by using J. Now we need to add this unordered list. That means document dot query, document dot not document. We have li dot append child. What is it? Unordered list item. Not it should be added to UI. Okay. Unordered list append child. It should be added. And this unordered list must be added into list item. That means li dot append child when unordered list. Now it will get the category here. Some problem. We are adding, where is it? This list item must be added to unordered list. ul dot append child. Append child, which one? So unordered list item must be added. And this unordered list must be added into li. Append child is equal to ul. Some problem is there. Let's check. Only electronics is coming. Some issue is there. Append child node failed. Where? So list item inner HTML category. This must be added inside. So some here itself appending have some problem. At a node, where is it? Acha, we are not using inner HTML. Yeah, we are not using inner HTML. It should be inner HTML. So document query selector added. It will be fine. I am not using inner HTML. This is unordered list item. List item will have inner HTML. Inner HTML I and J. That means it will get that and display. This is too much complicated. So, and it is a lot of time waste. So using I, J, if there are many references, lot of index based reference. That is the reason this is example by using loops. So this is nested. Same without loops, how to do nested? Without loop, this is a lengthy one. Without loop, it's very simple. For where, so first item of what is it? Data. So what we have to do, where we have to create a list item, document dot create element. What is it? li dot inner HTML is equal to item dot category. In that item, there is another collection called products. That means what we have to do for where product of what is the collection? Item dot products. And we are reading every products. And what is the point here? So for every product, we need to create an ordered list. Document dot create element. So create element. What is it? Unordered list. And where unordered list item, document dot create element. So li. What is unordered list item dot inner HTML? It should display product. Now add this to unordered list. ul dot append child unordered list item, and add this to document dot query selector. What is it? ol dot append child ul. You don't need I, J references and all, and you can see it is same. So where is the category name also to be added now? So this one more to be added. This unordered list must be added to list item li dot append child as unordered list. Then append li. Okay. Then it will add those items and display them. Same, but this time we are, what is the advantage of iterators? Actually, iterators doesn't require initialization. It doesn't require condition and doesn't require count. They don't require that. How to write them? Simply we have to write for where item of collection. That means it will start with first item and with last item. There is no initialization, there is no condition, there is no counter. So this is faster when compared to the loops. That is the reason in the modern JavaScript programming will very less use loops. Only when we need index-based access, sequential index-based access, then we go with the loops. So here in many interviews, they ask some questions like, suppose we are writing for. So I am writing like, actually, I am writing I where I is equal to 1. And I put a quotient and plus plus. Now, if they given like this and say, is it valid? There is no condition. This is valid. Even if there is no condition, because you can check the condition here. You can check the condition here. Suppose if anybody writes, that means, so first one, is it valid? So the answer is yes. It is valid. Actually, it is valid even if you write like this for. So you have empty semicolons. This is also valid. That means initialization you can write outside. Condition you can write inside. Counter you can write inside. You can write a for loop without them. But there must be place for them. That means you need to put a semicolon. Right? It is valid. Generally, you see now. So I am copying, already copied this. Say script, I am writing where I is equal to 1. And for I am not using initialization. I am just using I less than or equal to 10 I plus plus. And document dot write the value of I we are printing. So plus BR. And you can see the initializer is at the top. It's working. That means you can remove the condition also here. But if you remove the condition, where to write the condition? We have to write here. If I less than or equal to 10, then it has to do this work. Understood? We can write conditions like that. Counter also not required. That means, so we can simply remove this. counter, and we can write the counter also here I plus plus. That's how we can write. So that means if anywhere the syntax is given like this, then it is valid. The syntax is valid. That means there is no problem in that. So you can see it is working fine. Right? There is no problem in that. It is working fine. So just this is syntax. Example is like this. That means you can write the conditions, you can write the counters, you can write the initialization above. So loops require a lot of things. Now in the loops, we have two different others. We have a do, another one while. We will see them in the next session. Tomorrow we will do that. Tomorrow we will see some examples on do and while. I will give you some tasks. You have to try them. So if we can do, then we can go into very important functions and OOP concepts, object oriented programming in JavaScript, right? Tomorrow we will continue with that. Right?